Hi, I'm Delaney, and this is my book, Clementine and the Creature by Delaney Revis. The woods were dark and silent as sticks crunched under Clementine's sandals. She had known better than to go out into the woods alone, but the dare had seemed so easy at the time. Now the trees around her were closing in, the light of her flashlight turning bark into faces and branches into reaching arms. Suddenly, from behind her, there came a loud thud. Darting around, she saw something she could hardly believe. It seemed to be a creature, large and furry, with a pointed horn on either side of its head that steadied it as its wooden face peered up at her from where it sat upside down. She would later decide that it must have fallen out of a tree to have landed in such an odd way. Before she could scream or run or even blink, the monster began to lean and fell backwards with another noticeable thud. Most people would have run, and the thought did cross Clementine's mind, but as she stared at the creature, now lying flat on the ground, it seemed like it was shaking, almost like it was scared. Now filled with a new sense of courage, Clementine walked forward, pressing a gentle hand to the creature's furry head. It stopped shaking and seemed to calm down a bit. A loud voice called from deeper in the woods. Clementine! Clem, where are you? Oh, Clem, there you are. I was worried that you got lost because of that stupid dare. Clementine's best friend, JD, stepped through the bushes and into the clearing as she turned to face her. I'm fine, Clementine called back, but you have to see this. See what? Was JD's reply. Confused, Clementine turned back around, only to find that the creature was nowhere to be seen. But it was just right here. JD sighed, grabbing Clementine's arm and beginning to pull her back to the campsite. Sometimes I really don't know what to do with you, Clem. About a week later, while Clementine was walking home from softball practice, she saw a large, furry shape running across the road, apples trailing behind him as a farmer yelled in outrage. Giggling to herself, Clementine followed, finally finding it sitting against a tree. The creature looked tired, huffing and puffing from under its mask. She reached out a hand, offering a bright red apple that she picked up while following it. The creature seemed to relax and didn't run away as she sat down next to it and began to talk. Clementine talked and talked and talked until both she and the monster were sound asleep, leaning up against a tree in the middle of the clearing. They napped until the sun set, when Clementine realized that she had to get home, but she promised the creature that she would come back the next day. And she did come back the next day, and the next day, and the next day after that. At first, she tried to see if the creature could play any sports. He was a pretty good soccer goalie, but struggled with basketball since he had no arms. They also decided that because of his horns, volleyball was not a good choice. She found out that it wasn't very good at hide and seek. But it loved to have its toenails painted to match hers, even though this often meant that she had to use 2 or 3 bottles of nail polish and a full-sized paintbrush. It even came along while she was flying her kite, and the creature was very helpful when it came to getting kites that were stuck in trees. Every day after practice for 3 years, Clementine would go out to the woods with 2 ham sandwiches and have a snack with the creature. Every day that was, until one day when she didn't have any ham sandwiches and she was crying. Clementine's mom had gotten a new job in another state, which meant that Clementine was moving and she wouldn't be able to hang out with the creature anymore. A few weeks later, it was time for Clementine to go. With a heavy heart, she said goodbye to the creature, but promised that one day she would come back to see it again. The creature watched as Clementine got into the car and drove away and began to wait. The creature waited and waited and waited. It was many, many years before anyone came back to the creature's woods. Anne-Marie groaned as her mom dragged her through the bushes. "Mom, how long have we even been walking? My feet hurt." Clementine wasn't really listening to her daughter complain, seemingly distracted by old memories. Before Anne-Marie could complain again, Clementine stopped suddenly. "Here, we're here." Here was a clearing with a large tree in the middle, and Clementine told Anne-Marie to unpack their lunch while she went to look for something. But Clementine opened up her mom's backpack. She was confused. "Hey, Mom, why are there 3 sandwiches in here?" "Just in case," was Clementine's only reply. "In case what?" asked Anne-Marie. The sound of something moving through the woods came from behind them, and Clementine smiled. "In case we run into an old friend." The end. Thank you guys for listening.
We can unmute and talk to you. Nice job. Your storyline is great, and the illustrations are absolutely charming. We like the way, or I like the way, and I know Mrs. Ayla definitely does, the way you've used the whole page and the colors. But I think that the most impressive thing for me is your storyline took me the whole way. It brought everything back around. So it's a great story. Your delivery was really well. Your voice is a good voice. You enunciated in the right place. Kids will get excited by that. For this age group, even through 3rd grade, Delaney, you might learn to read like a kindergarten teacher reads, and that's holding it like this. Now, some teachers still read like this and turn it, but this is very effective, is to do it like this and then to let students see. Your pacing was a tiny bit fast, but other than that, it was a great delivery. Job well done. Be proud of yourself.
Thank you.
Well, Delaney, I really enjoyed hearing the story in your own voice. You did a great job, and I agree. Your story is very, very good. You have a great storyline. I love the way that you use vocabulary to write a description. I could actually hear the crunch under her feet in the first paragraph. And so many times I could just imagine exactly what you were saying and experience Clementine. So I thought you used words very, very well. Good job. And your illustrations are outstanding. I really like the way you showed the flashlight in your illustration. That was very clever. And I love the way you filled the space. It was just perfect. And you did a great job presenting. I think you're a natural teacher. You're a great oral reader, and you have either read to kids before or you have practiced a lot. You did a great job. So it was just a pleasure to sit and enjoy your story in the author's voice. Good job.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, ma'am.
Nice job.
Oh, one thing I wanted to say too is you cannot help but giggle during your sports pages. Oh my gosh, that is so great. I mean, just to say he was pretty good at soccer, but when it came to basketball, kind of hard with no hands.
Volleyball.
And volleyball. Yeah, I thought that was great. Kids are going to love that.
Really relate to that. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool.
Yeah.
Nice job. Nice job.
Thank you so much, Delaney.
If your book should go on to higher competition, Delaney, you might really consider showing the pictures like this, or like when holding it down, maybe hold it up a little bit. You know, that's the only little tiny tidbit that I could even offer you for improvement. Okay.
Thank you.
But Mrs. Hill is right. I mean, some teachers would rather hold the book like this because that's really how you read.
Exactly.
We don't read like this. And so they do it just like you did too. So I think it's all just a personal preference. Yeah, good job.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Hey, thank you, Delaney. I'm going to remove you now.
Goodbye, Delaney.
Goodbye.
Bye.
And I love your haircut.
Thank you.